The alien woman was blind, until the human gave her sight. Beginning, the twin suns of Althera cast pale blue light across the jagged cliffs. The planet was breathtaking. Its skies swirled with lavender clouds, rivers gleamed like molten silver, and forests shimmered as though each tree was made of crystal. But Kale, a visiting human biotechnician from Earth, noticed something else first. The silence. Unlike Earth, Althera's air carried no birdsong. The inhabitants didn't rely on sight or sound the way humans did. The Altherans were a proud, ancient race, tall, elegant beings with skin that reflected faint hues of their environment. Yet they were all born without the ability to see. It was not a disability to them. It was their nature. For millennia, they navigated through a complex web of echolocation and energy sense. They saw, not with eyes, but with resonance, the way a bat senses the world in pitch black. To them, sight was an alien, incomprehensible notion. Kale had been sent by the Interstellar Alliance for a medical exchange program to see if human biogenetics could benefit Altheran physiology. He had studied their biology tirelessly, fascinated by their different perception of existence. His work required him to live among them for months. That was when he met Lyra. Lyra was the daughter of an Altheran elder, a young woman of striking presence. Her skin carried soft violet undertones that shifted depending on her mood. When she looked at Kale with her unseeing eyes, he felt as though she could read his thoughts. She moved gracefully, every step perfectly measured, every gesture fluid. Yet, unlike most of her people, Lyra was curious about human ways. She often asked Kale questions others dismissed as unnecessary. What does light look like? When you close your eyes and then open them, what changes? Do colors feel like warmth on your skin? Kale, at first, struggled to explain. Sight was something humans took for granted, almost impossible to put into words for someone who had never known it. But Lyra listened, and Kale realized that her longing to understand sight was more than idle curiosity. It was yearning. One evening, when the lavender sky dimmed and the twin sun sank behind the cliffs, Lyra sat beside Kale on a crystalline ledge. Her expression was pensive. Kale, she said, her voice like low music, I dream sometimes. In my dreams, there is something I cannot describe. Flashes, shapes. I wonder, is that sight? Kale hesitated. For weeks, he had been running simulations in his lab. He had mapped Altheran neural pathways and discovered and used structures, an evolutionary remnant, perhaps. With gene therapy, there was a possibility to awaken them, to give them sight. But to meddle with the people's very way of existence was dangerous. Many Altherans resisted human influence. Some elders considered it blasphemy to alter their nature. And yet, looking at Lyra, Kale felt the weight of choice pressing on him. Maybe, Kale said softly, maybe your dreams are your body remembering something it was never meant to forget. Her unseeing eyes turned toward him. Then show me, human. If there's a way, let me see. And that was the beginning. Middle. Kale's research accelerated after Lyra's request. Nights blurred into days inside his makeshift laboratory, a carved-out chamber beneath the cliffs, filled with human biotech instruments humming alongside Altheran resonance crystals. He worked on a treatment that combined genetic reactivation with a nanotech interface, essentially rewiring dormant optical nerves and teaching them how to process visual input. Lyra visited often, curious and unafraid. She let Kale scan her neural patterns, patiently endured tests, and asked endless questions. Will sight hurt? Will I see everything at once, or piece by piece? Will your face look the way I imagine it does? Kale found himself smiling at her persistence. He tried not to think about how close they'd become. The way she leaned toward his voice, how her laughter echoed like silver bells in crystalline caves, how her curiosity about him wasn't just scientific. But not everyone approved. One evening, Elder Varric, Lyra's father, summoned Kale to the council chamber. The chamber was a vast hall of crystal pillars that pulsed with faint energy. The elders, robed in flowing garments, stood in a half circle. Their expressions shifted with iridescent hues of disapproval. Human, Varric said, his tone deep and resonant. We hear troubling whispers. You intend to alter the nature of our kind, to give sight where there should be none. Kale bowed slightly, choosing his words carefully. I only research what is possible. Lyra volunteered. I would never force change upon your people. Sight is not ours to have. Another elder intoned. We are born to perceive the world through resonance. To see with eyes is to abandon what we are. But then Lyra stepped forward. Her voice, though respectful, carried defiance. Father, elders, all my life, I have wondered what lies beyond. Why should we shun knowledge simply because it is foreign? If there is a gift to be had, why must we fear it? Her words caused a ripple of color across the chamber, some hues of shock, others of hesitation. But Varric's skin pulsed with dark indigo, displeasure. You tread dangerous paths, daughter, he said. Still, he did not forbid her. The weeks that followed were tense. Kale perfected his therapy, while rumors spread. Some Altherans shunned Lyra, calling her reckless, betrayer of tradition. Yet others, mostly the younger generation, whispered of her bravery, intrigued by the forbidden possibility of sight. Finally, the day came. Lyra lay upon the treatment table in Kale's lab, her breathing steady, though her hands trembled slightly. The crystalline walls glowed faintly, reacting to her emotions. Kale adjusted the injector, a slender device housing billions of nanites programmed to awaken dormant neural pathways. Are you ready? He asked quietly. Lyra turned her face toward his voice, her lips curving in the faintest of smiles. I have never been more ready. Kale hesitated one last time. This may not work. It may overwhelm you. Once begun, it cannot be undone. Then let me risk it. If I must be the first, so be it. With a deep breath, Kale activated the injector. A soft pulse entered her bloodstream. The nanites rushed to her brain, rewriting code, stimulating pathways long asleep. Lyra gasped, her body arching slightly, her unseeing eyes fluttering. And then she screamed. The resonance crystals vibrated violently, reacting to her pain. Kale rushed to stabilize the interface, his hands flying across controls. Stay with me, Lyra. Breathe through it. Her scream turned into ragged gasps. Then, slowly, her breathing steadied. Her eyes, once dull and unfocused, now flickered with movement. Pupils dilated. Muscles twitched. For the first time in Altheran history, those eyes saw. At first, she wept. The sudden flood of input, light, color, shapes, was overwhelming. She clutched Kale's arm desperately. It burns. It's too much. What is this? Kale gently placed his hand over hers. It's light, Lyra. Your first sight. Breathe. Focus on me. Her eyes blinked rapidly, struggling to adapt. Then, slowly, she looked at him, truly looked. And Kale felt his breath catch. Because in that moment, Lyra's gaze locked with his, and tears streamed down her cheeks. You, she whispered. You are brighter than I imagined. Kale swallowed hard, emotion tightening his chest. Welcome to sight, Lyra. But the true test was yet to come. Ending. Lyra's new vision spread like wildfire across Althera. Whispers filled the streets. Some praised her bravery. Others cursed it. Elders debated whether to denounce or embrace this human-given gift. For Lyra, the days were overwhelming. Every moment was discovery. She would stare at the twin suns until Kale gently reminded her it hurt human eyes. She gasped at rivers of silver, at the way forests glittered like stars, at the smallest things, her own hands, the delicate shimmer of her skin, Kale's tired but kind face. Yet joy came with sorrow. Her people looked at her differently now. Some turned away. Friends she had known since childhood avoided her. Her father, Elder Varric, rarely spoke to her, his expression heavy with disappointment. One evening, Lyra sat with Kale at the cliffside, gazing at the vast expanse of stars. Her voice trembled. Did I make a mistake, Kale, in choosing this path? My people, I feel their distance. Perhaps I have broken something that cannot be repaired. Kale's hand brushed hers, tentative but warm. Change is never easy. Sometimes it costs us more than we expect. But what you've done, you've shown what's possible. Maybe not everyone is ready, but someday they will be. She turned to him, her eyes shining with starlight. And you gave me this. I will never regret seeing you, Kale. It was then Kale realized the bond between them had grown into something deeper than science, deeper than discovery. But the conflict on Althera could not be ignored. Opposition mounted, elders arguing whether humans were corrupting their traditions. Some even demanded Lyra's reversal, though Kale warned it could kill her. The crisis came to a head when Varric himself stood before the council, his daughter at his side. My people, he began, his voice resonant. I have struggled with what my daughter has done. I feared it would tear at the fabric of who we are. But I cannot deny what I have seen with my own resonance. Her joy, her wonder, it is true. She has not abandoned us. She has only added to what she is. The chamber fell silent. Then Varric turned to Lyra, his expression softening at last. My daughter, though I may never understand sight, I see your courage, and I cannot condemn it. The decision did not end debate, but it gave Lyra protection. Over time, younger Altherans began to approach her, curious, asking what she saw. Some asked Kale if they too could undergo the treatment. The path forward was uncertain, but the seed of change had been planted. On Kale's final night before returning to Earth, he stood once more on the cliffside with Lyra. She gazed at him, her eyes filled with colors of both sorrow and hope. You will leave, she said softly. I must, Kale admitted, but I will return. And when I do, perhaps more of your people will be ready. Lyra stepped closer, her hand finding his. Then I will wait. And until then, I will see for both of us, for all of us. Their lips met beneath the lavender sky, the twin suns casting their final glow over Althera. And though Kale left, he knew the world would never be the same. For an alien woman who had once been blind now carried sight. And through her, her people's future had changed forever.